It was also in the past week the much anticipated G20 summit took place in the German city of Hamburg. Why were all eyes on this particular summit? It's because of two countries, Russia and the United States. Leaders of both countries met for the first time face-to-face since Trump became president. And to the U.S. president, the all-important question was asked, did Russia meddle in the U.S. elections in November? That meeting between Presidents Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin was the most anticipated at the summit. President Putin denied any meddling in the U.S. democratic process last year, and Moscow has asked for proof that it took place. U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, during a press briefing, during which cameras were not allowed, said both presidents held a robust and lengthy exchange on the Russian interference, saying President Trump had pressed Putin about the issue. He also said both had differing views on how to deal with North Korea's weapons program, but that Washington would continue to press Moscow to do more to curb Pyongyang's activities. They also agreed alongside Jordan a ceasefire and de-escalation agreement in southwestern Syria to go into effect on Sunday. Meanwhile, back to the summit, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, President Donald Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau congratulated the World Bank on the announcement it was launching a public-private loan program to support women entrepreneurs in developing countries, an initiative championed by U.S. First Daughter Ivanka Trump. Initial funding of the $325 million for the project includes large donations from Germany, the United States, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. In the meantime, leaders renewed their commitment to implementing the Paris deal on climate change, despite the U.S. pulling out. Deadlock over the issue had held up last day of talks, but final agreement was eventually reached. It acknowledges President Donald Trump's withdrawal from the agreement without undermining the commitment of other countries. German Chancellor Angela Merkel said she still deplored President Trump's position, but was gratified the other 19 nations opposed its renegotiation. More people came out to protest on the streets even on the second day of the summit. Police, however, turned water cannon on them sporadically, and many left soon afterwards.
Wir müssen die Leute hochfahren.
More than 200 policemen are said to have been injured in the past few days, 143 people arrested, and 122 taken into custody. To the G20 meeting. It was a very important meeting, anticipated meeting between President Trump and Russian President. A lot of Americans have a lot of questions about it, of course, whether Russia interfered in the U.S. elections and so on. Both leaders said they had a really good talk. It was supposed to last 30 minutes, it lasted 2 hours. Do you think they were really being honest with each other about what they discussed?
There's no way any one of them can be honest with the other. It is not possible. When you look at the issues at stake, now the generality of the political elite in the United States believe that one way or the other, Putin had his hands in the U.S. election.
But he's denied it.
Yeah, it's normal. Diplomacy is about telling the truth and also denying it, and denying it when actually you have done it. What
and
is
being convincing enough.
Precisely. All these things, under normal circumstances, why would President Putin come to the open and admit that he had done so? Then you will be found guilty explicitly by the international community. So it is normal. And now Donald Trump in his country is having the same problem to convince the generality of the American people. Why? Because his election now is characterized by suspicions that, look, afterwards he didn't win any election.
Well, he didn't win by popular votes.
Precisely.
Just the Electoral College.
And even with the Electoral College, when they were counting, etc., all along, the fact that we had suspicions that, look, you have tampered, all right, with the electoral processes. So, actually, Donald Trump is at best a Russian-elected American president. So, when they now meet one-on-one, they must emphasize pleasantries, which constitute the introductory level to any meaningful discussion. What they have done is at the level of the pleasantries. So let people see them, laugh, discuss. But there's no way within them they can be telling themselves the truth. That is where analysts come in to see what have been said actually. What's the big deal about it?
And I remember Trump saying that they would have more talks later on. So,
Precisely.
Of course, they will be meeting later on to have more of that. Now, the protests got much media attention at this time for being, really violent. There were larger numbers. You had policemen who were injured, by the protests and so on. The message behind the protest was that, leaders come together, they talk, and they do very little in the end. Do you think they have a point this time?
They have more than 1 point. You see, at the end of the day, many observers are not able to differentiate between ceremonial meetings and meetings meant to address constructive issues. Now, they have been meeting. G20 started as G7. G7 became G8. From G8, they brought many countries. We now talk about G20. The idea of including more countries was specifically meant to address this problem you have rightly pointed out. You have many critical issues, but they couldn't find any enduring solutions to them. And at the end of the day, the people have been protesting. But it got to a level that you declare statements, you want to assist so and so category of people. But at the end of the day, nothing is coming. Those who pledged to provide funds wouldn't do that. No. And at the end of the day, then the people who are actually affected now decided to take the laws to their hands, that we should now go beyond peaceful demonstrations. Let us make this point clearly known to the leaders. So I think they had a point, and I think they will get the message too.
Professor Bola Akinterinwa, always a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here again.
And with that, we've come to the end of the program. We always encourage your thoughts and suggestions. The addresses to reach us on are on your screen. I am Amarachi Ubani. Thanks for watching.